Okay, good morning everyone. Today we will be discussing about Java selection statements. In Java selection statements, we have all these five. Along with it, we will just see how small programs works in the selection statements in the Google Colab. So we will move on with the first one. So it has been categorized into three things. First one, it will be a selection, iteration, and a job. So you have some certain set of selection statements which will be having a different parts of executions. And iteration will be, it will be in a repeat mode, one or more statements, it will be in a repeat mode. Where comes this for? In selection statements, you can concentrate on this if and switch. So, and you have jump. So if you want to have any condition, you want to check a condition, then you want to execute some set of statements, you will be preferring to this jump. So as per the if statement is concerned, we can see on the right hand side. So it will be provided with a condition. If the condition is going to be true, you will be executing some set of statements. If your condition is going to be false, again you will move out of the if loop and you will have some certain set of statements which is nowhere related to this if. Okay. So when you're typing also if, in the bracket you will have some condition, open braces, then you have some set of statements, then you will have a close braces. For example, it has been given at the down, you want to check a number which is less than 100, you will be checking, and if it is going to be true, you'll just print it as less than 100. So this is how the Java program starts with. So always you will have a class, and the class only, it's an object-oriented language. So always it will be having a class. So class, any name that you want to give it to a class. And as always, you'll start with what? Public static void main. And you give a certain age inside. You want to put a scanner and you want to get the value also, you can get it. Okay. So in case if you're not preferred with that, just I want to check how it works, you can just put some age in an integer. It is an integer data type, and you give that condition. If it is greater than 18, he is been allowed to vote. Or if it is not more than that, you have to move on with the second condition. But as of now, we are considering only what? If. So if is a constraint means we are just checking whether if it is that particular person with who is having an age greater than 18 alone will be allowed to vote. So that is how he has been eligible. So that is how it. But you have to think if he is going to fall on to a false category, what I will be using. There comes another one that we call it as if else. Okay. So if the first condition is true, you'll move on with the true condition. If the first condition is not true, you want to move on to a second one, which is a false one. We will prefer to what? Else. So that plays the role of else. So if condition if true, we will execute some certain set of statements, or else you'll move on to else. But you have to be very cautious about this curly braces. So you want to put something in the true, it should be coming under that curly braces. And if it is going to be false, it has to come under curly braces. Sometimes you will be wondering, some people would have not used this curly braces. Why is it the case is that statement will be only one line statement. If you have multiple statements inside, obviously you have to prefer with only what? Curly braces. So here comes even that example. If you want to take, if the age is going to be greater than 18, he is eligible to vote. If he is going to be less than 18, that will be else condition, right? He will not be allowed to vote. So this particular program, order even, we will just try in our Colab. Okay, so this is the program. So this program, so how we are going to do it in a Colab is always you will prefer writing in a file, then you have to execute in a Colab. So you can open a Colab here. So in the Colab, always we will put percentage write file. This particular name, even or odd, should be the same name as the class. You can see class, even or odd, and the same. .java is the extension file we use it. Here I'm going to scan the value of the particular number. So I'm just going to use scanner here. So this class name I have given public static void main. So as you know, I will be using a scanner. Scanner, you have to use it. Scanner, the value, you have to get it from the system.in. So I have scanned the value. I want to check whether this particular value is an even value or an odd value. So if it is an even, what you will be doing, the remainder, if it is being divided by the 2, the remainder will be what? 0. So here you have percentage 2 we are using, so the remainder will be 0. So you are just giving it as even, and if it is the other case, it will be odd. So how I'm going to run the program? So you have to use an exclamation mark to run this one. Exclamation mark Java C even odd.java. That is the class name that has been taken. So I'm just running this one. Okay, I have compiled it. So I have to run this particular program. So I'm moving on with the running part. So since it is a scanner, I have to give a value. So here I'm just giving a value. So it has been said that it's an odd. So we want to try some other programs. I have some certain set of programs that is already been I have. So I'll share it in the comment section. If you want, you can just use it to find out whether whatever we do is correct or not. So this one is also another program. We can just try this program. I'm just copying this program, or I can also want to try, since nowadays everything is in AI, we don't have to put so much effort into it. But in spite of that, since it's an already a pseudocode already I have been taking it, so I'm taking that one. So I'm moving on with, so percentage, I have to write this file. So write file. Okay, see it itself is giving, so I don't have to put much effort into it. So the same class name porting I have given, we have seen already this program, but I have given a space. I have to fill a pseudocode that matches this one. So as you know, when the age is going to be greater than 18, this is going to be what is being eligible to vote, or else it will be moving on with this one. So I'll just run this program. So I have saved this program now. So what is my next step is I have to compile it. So I'll be putting exclamation mark Java C voting. So it will all automatically show. So that is the beauty of this collab. So I've just compiled this program. So it is not throwing me any error. So I'm moving on with exclamation mark Java to run this one voting. Okay. So as always, it will be asking for a value. So you should be ready to give a value. So I'm just giving it as 23. So he's been eligible to vote. So he has been given as eligible to vote. You want to check a false statement, you can just give it as, so you have to give a value. So let me give it as 12. So it is going to be not eligible to vote. So we have some other programs if you want to try. So you have if else, we have tried with if else. So these are many programs that you can try of your own and see how far it works. Okay. So we will move on with the next part. So as of now, we have seen if and if else. So we will move on with the next one, if else later. So what is if else later is, I know that if condition, if it is going to be true, that set of statements will be working off. And if it is going to be false, I'll move on. But in the false also, I want to check some condition. Okay, so I want to check whether he belongs to some certain category. He doesn't belong to some certain category. So I want to keep on checking it. So, so I want to use some other if else also again. So rather than that, I want to check only for the false statements. I have to keep on checking. It belongs to a certain category. So then we will move on with something called as if else if. So can you see here? So if some condition is going to be true, you will execute this. That condition, if it is going to be false, I'll move on to else. But in that also, I want to check whether some certain conditions is true. So I'll move on with this and I'll keep on moving. So at the last, you will have else. So this is how it works. So we will see a little bit example. Can you see here? Here, the marks has been given. I just want to check in what category this marks has been categorized. So what I'm doing, first step, I'm checking this mark whether he is less than 35. Obviously, I'm going to put him under fail. So, or else, if that particular person is moving on belonging to between 35 to 60, so here you can see this is true. So, this statement has been executed. But we are moving on to the false statement, but the false statement also have some certain set of categories. So I want to grade them based upon the range. So I'm starting with the first condition. Can you see 35 to 60 if he belongs to? I'll be grading him as D. So if he belongs to 60 to 70, I'll grade him as D, C. So if he belongs to 70 to 80, I'll be grade him as B. So like this, I will be keep on going, but there will be some point that I would have forgotten to give some values. So that value cannot be taken at all. So at the time, you can put more on with else. So this is how this if else, if later will work. So this is also some of the very normal small program. I want to check whether it's a positive or a negative number. Positive number, obviously, it will be greater than 0. Negative number, obviously, it is less than 0. But in between, we have a number that is 0 alone. So that belongs to where it will be moving on with else statement. So at the last part of the if, so we will be moving on something called this nested if. That is, you have a if and the condition is true. Earlier, what we have seen for nested if the condition is true, you will do some set of statements. Then you'll move on with the false and the false will be categorized. Here, it's a beauty. You have if and it has been true, you go inside that if statement and in that you will have the categorization rather than the if else later. So that is what is been given. If a condition is true, you go inside and you have some other if else also inside it. So here comes a nested if. So I am just taking two values, age and weight, and I'm just checking whether he is greater than 18 and 18, and as well as I'm just checking whether his weight is greater than 50. So I'm just categorizing him is ready to donate. And if he's going to be less than 50, he's not ready to eligible for donating the blood. So I'm putting under the category. So apart from it, I'm just keeping if that particular person is less than 18, he's not allowed. So he has to be greater than 18 only. Okay. So we will move on with the switch statements. That is, in the selection itself, we have if else later, and the later part we have if else nested also. So here we are moving on to something called as switch. Switch, we have to consider some certain things. Switch statement is going to execute more statement or one statement, but we have multiple conditions. And so even the switch can be converted as if else. Okay. So that is another one. So you can use all the types, whatever you wanted. The case value should be always a literal or a constant. Okay. It is not, it should be very unique. And you will have a break statement also. We have a default statement also. So this is how it works. You have switch, you will give an expression or a condition. Sorry, it cannot be a condition. It should be a constant or a literal. You should be. And the value it belongs to this means it will execute this. Then you will break and come out. Then if it is going to be this value, it will execute this and it will come out. So all this is not working at all. I have a different value. It will move on to the default and it works. So this is the one. I'm just trying to take a number and I'm just checking whether what is this number, and I'm putting it in the a value for it. Okay, so case 1, I'm just putting it as 1. Case 2, I'm just putting it as 2. And 3, I'm putting it. So I cannot keep on putting it. I'm just putting a default statement. Remember always for after case space, that particular value, there will be a colon. And you will have the statement that you want to type it. Then you will have a break. So, but in the case of default, you can see you have only colon. Whatever statement you want to put, you can put it. You don't need a break because obviously it is going to come out. So this is also another different type of program. So it is going to tell me about the month. So I'm just giving a value and I'm just listing it out from 1 to 12 as January till December. So we have only 12 months. We don't have a 13th month. So we will move on with an invalid month. So you can also do the switch without a break. So that also is possible. But how it executes is totally a little bit different. So here you can see I have a number. I don't have a break here. I don't have a break here. I don't have a break. So the number it has been given is 2. So it will obviously skip this case 1 and it will go to 2. Since it don't have a break here, it obviously goes to 3. Don't have a break here, obviously it moves on to the default. So that is why it is the output is 2, 3 and not in 1, 2 and 3. So here also you can try it out. So if my value is going to be 5, okay. 5 means, so obviously what it will go directly to 5. Then it will print 6, 7, 8, 9. Then this one. Okay, then it will print. So since I have given a for loop, the output is like this. You can try your own value, what it will be giving when we give only one value. When one value is there, what will be the value it will give in? You can just try. So this is about switch. And so we have seen switch without break. Now we can also see nested switch. So you can have switch inside a switch. So here you can see a switch expression, a value it is being given. Inside a case, I'm giving a switch inside. If you want to try that also, it can be. So I want to give this as an exercise. You can just read it for 1 minute. So here, what you'll be using, whether you can use switch or you're going to use if else later. So you can try with whatever you want. So here I have used switch. So that is how I have decided and I have used switch. So we will move on with something called as enum. We will be using enum in switch statements that is allowed in Java. So enum is a little bit of a special class. We have to use it with the keyword enum. and you can give some certain set of values, and that certain set of values can be used in your switch. So I'm defining it with the variable name, and I'm categorizing some values into it. Remember, there is no semicolon, only to differentiate the values. I'm putting the comma, then closing it. I want to pick a value. I can use this particular variable name that I have given and the value also. That also is possible. So we will see something. So here I'm using a loop. So we are not using a normal loop. We are using a loop so that we can process all the values. So I have all these values here in the enum. I just want to take all these values. So I'm just using a string array. So, and I'm starting with the first one. This day represents, it's this data type day. Okay, so it will become as a specific data type. So I'm starting with a variable name I and colon day now. Day now will have all the set of values that is available here. So I have all the values. I'll take one value and I'll print it. Another, till all the values has been exhausted, it will be printed. So it is starting with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all these things has been printed. So we will see some of the examples that you want to do. We will move on with some exercises here. So I want you people to display you can see the first set. You can write a program to display the day name for a given number 1 to 7. Then you try without a breaks. Then you can try a nested switch, and if possible, you can use enum also. So kindly make a try, and this set of exercises, I'm posting it in the chat box. You can try these programs so that it will be useful for you. Thank you so much. And if you have any queries, just post it in the chat. Thank you.